culture promotes a very black and white version of the world. Things either are or they aren't, and stuff's either true or it's false. And it's all very binary and a little bit dull, and as it turns out, it's all very wrong. You see, we all live in our very own versions of the Matrix, and most people just don't even know it. For example, have you ever been reminiscing with someone and it turns out that each of you remembers the event that you're talking about completely differently, like you weren't even in the same place? And have you ever lost your keys and then some smart fucker points them out to you in a place that you know that you definitely already looked? Have you ever completely forgotten a conversation that you had with someone even though you literally only had it with them yesterday? Or has someone completely misconstrued your words? Then you're like, how the fuck did you get that from what I said? And it is so crazy how many meanings we can create from a text message that literally just says the words okay. And how can people have beliefs that are so extreme, like racism or homophobia, and they're so extreme and they believe them so intently that they're willing to kill another human being for being wrong in who they are? So why does all of this happen? We're conditioned to believe that there is only one reality. There's one right and wrong, and that's based on logic and it's based on fact. So what the fuck is going on that we can see all these different versions of grey? So we can begin to explain it by looking at how human perception and human experience works. So when we look at the world around us, we don't take everything in, like we couldn't. That would be impossible. So if you just look around you right now and really, really pay attention to everything. So, for example, for me, I would have to notice every single leaf on the tree outside, every bird that flies past the window, every drop of water from the pond fountain that I can hear, all the hairs on my dog that's sitting on the bed next to me, every breath that he takes, every breath that I take, every mark on the wall and speck on the carpet, and that's without even noticing the smells and how the air feels at every single second on my skin. It would be crazy and our brains would just explode, I'd imagine. I've read that we take on the equivalent amount of information every second as what's contained in the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. And where the hell would we even start with sorting through that much information? Like, could you even imagine having to sift through it all before recognising that, say, a car is about to hit you, or like there's a ferocious chihuahua that's running at your ankles? And how long would it take for us to get out of bed and into the shower each day if we had to process every minute detail to check where we were and that we were safe before we did? So instead of having to sort through all that, our brain does some really, really clever shit, and it generalizes everything in a split second. Like if you're in bed, it's like, yeah, this all looks exactly the same as yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. And if we remember, we didn't die on any of those days, so everything's probably, pretty much okay for us to get out of bed again now. Because to keep us alive and functioning, we take that entire encyclopedic information and then we whittle it down to the equivalent of just a paragraph per second, which is way more manageable. And they reckon this is like an evolutionary adaptation from when we were cave people, and it allowed us to focus on the important stuff and then just disregard or generalize the rest. So our subconscious literally deletes or adapts the information that it doesn't think is useful so that our conscious brain just notices the useful, important stuff. But how do you decide what to keep, what to delete, and what to change into something completely different so that it is understandable for you? And that, my friends, is all about your belief system. So your standards on what you think the world is and how it should behave. It's like your own personal filter. Because when we're born, we're basically a blank slate and we don't know anything about anything. So we need to be shown how to live correctly. And those rules for what's right or wrong come from what our parents believe mostly, but there's also input from like teachers and our peers and our culture. So anything or anyone that we believe and trust to tell us the truth about the way the world works, we take that information into account. And then, as we grow up and we do our own thing, our beliefs get stronger when we have experiences that confirm that we're right. But our beliefs can also get weaker when we see more and more information that suggests that our beliefs were wrong. And the problem is that we tend to subconsciously delete or distort any information which doesn't confirm our beliefs. So we rarely even give ourselves the chance to be shown a different point of view. So this is why beliefs are really difficult to change. So if you look at your belief filter, just like it's a social media algorithm, so take politics, for example. So right-wing folk will be shown a constant stream of posts which confirm that their political leanings are correct. And they'll also be shown tons of stuff that shows that the left-wing folk suck, and vice versa. Because on Facebook, we're never shown the entire truth of everybody's posts and opinions. You know that you have all those Facebook friends, but you never ever see their stuff. It's because Facebook has decided that you don't need to see it. We only get shown the bits that we agree with already, or the bits that Facebook thinks will make us angry, so will cause a reaction. And Google does it as well. So if I personally Google, is being fat healthy? My search results, which are decided on by all of the things that I've previously Googled, will be completely different to someone who is in a diet group, say, or who continually searches gym workouts online. But the clever bit is that Google and Facebook make it seem like we're all looking at the exact same digital world, but we're not. And our real life is the same. So we think that we're all looking at the same thing, but in fact, we're each experiencing a world which is based purely on our very own individual mental algorithm. So, if we have a belief, for example, that we never ever have money and that we suck at it, we'll only ever experience a world where that's true. So we won't see that for each experience we have of sucking at keeping or making money, we've deleted a million experiences where we absolutely rocked at it. And we'll even go so far as to subconsciously make sure that we never have money, so that our bias and our belief is confirmed, so we keep it. So maybe we'll waste it, or maybe we'll forget to pay parking fines, or we fuck up promotion interviews that would give us more money. We'll forget all the times that we invested in a high interest savings account, or when we paid off bills early, or got a bonus, or won a tenner on a scratch card. Our beliefs dictate the kind of world we see, and what we see confirms our beliefs. So it's like a vicious cycle. So what kind of world would you see, do you think, if you have the belief that fat bodies are bad, or that if you find movement difficult, or if you think that you're addicted to or forever binging on junk food? So you'll experience a world in which all of those things are true for you. They might not be true in a general sense, but for you they'll be true, so it's the same thing. And the bits which shows that your beliefs are absolute bollocks just won't even come into your consciousness. So you won't see the other version of the world in which all of those things aren't true. But the good news is that you don't have to live with your current belief system forever. It genuinely can be changed. So, I don't know if you ever watched like The Truman Show, and it's that bit where Jim Carrey, he just starts to notice things that he's never noticed before, like the stage lights or extras that he's seen a couple of times in different roles before. And then once he started to notice all of these little things, then the illusion, the whole thing of it, soon comes crashing down. And sometimes we can make that happen in real life too. So sometimes the beliefs that we like grip to our little soul as the truth, they just start to slip a little bit. And we start to notice that maybe they're not actually helping that much. Or you will start to notice things that actually go against what you believe. And then you might start to question whether actually your beliefs are holding you back more than keeping you safe, which is what you once thought, even if it's subconsciously. And so in diet culture, it's like when you start to notice how much money you've spent on weight loss, and then you sort of begin to realize that actually you've got nothing to show for it, and none of those times have ever worked. So maybe it doesn't work. And then maybe all of the like motivational memes, they start to become more annoying than motivating. Or maybe you'll start to notice that some people are fat and are in bikinis and the world didn't explode. And actually they look pretty fucking happy. Or maybe you'll start to notice like how much time your skinny mates spend agonising over food choices and how they spend all of their free time marching on the spot with their eyes like fixed to their step counters and smartwatches. Or maybe you'll just start to notice more body positivity books on the shelves than the diet ones. And maybe you'll begin to question what you used to believe as a world truth is actually just a perspective. And it's not fact, it's just a belief that you once had. And unfortunately, it's at this point where everything just gets like really uncomfortable. It's like when you're caught between two truths and you don't quite believe either of them. You don't believe your old one anymore is completely true, but you don't quite believe the new one yet either. And even though that feels really fucking uncomfortable and really gross and weird, it's actually a really, really good sign because it shows that your beliefs have started to change. And all you need to do is just give them an extra push into your new belief. And that's actually pretty simple to do. I mean, it's not easy, but it is pretty simple. So we can do things like we can make sure that our social media algorithms only show us evidence of the beliefs that we have or the beliefs that we want to have. So delete all of your dieting apps and like leave all of the dieting groups and unfollow all of those annoying Fitspo influencers and anyone who's showing you their like weight loss journey or like diet plates of food. Just unfollow them. You can report all of the dieting and the gym adverts that you get as scams or irrelevant. Actively follow the people who are acting in the way that you want to act. So all of the health at every size instructors and classes and body positivity people, people like me. And in real life, whenever people start talking about diets or weight loss, just shut that conversation down or leave the room. Like throw away like scales and diet books. Cancel your gym membership if you only have it for weight loss, or if you just don't go anymore, just cancel it. And really play an active part in finding out information which supports your new belief and disproves the one that you had before. And you know those like first thoughts which pop into your head that you have no real control over? Things like, oh, I can't wear that, I'm too fat. Question it. So be like, hang on, is that actually true? And then all we need to do then is just wait for the new belief to really take seed in you. And it will if it's something that you want to believe. The only problem is that this obviously takes time. Like, don't expect all this shit to change overnight because you're fighting against your belief system that's been with you for your entire life. Because as a human race, we've had this belief system for at least a good few hundred years now. So obviously this shit's going to take some time to change. But trust me, if really deep in your soul you do want to live in a world where being fat is not a death sentence and where all bodies are respected equally, then it genuinely will happen for you. Like I said, it just takes time. And you do need to be an active participant in changing it. So don't just sit back and wait for body confidence to come to you or for like diet culture just to magically disappear out of your brain and out of your life. Like, you need to make that shit happen by actively thinking a new world into existence. But you can do that, and I'm here to help you.